Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the story about Naruto. What if Naruto join Akatsuki? Part 1. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please do support for more awesome content and also hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends. And also support the creator of this fanfic. I have created many playlists, check it out in the channel. So let's start the video. The newest member, Confession. Naruto Uzumaki felt great. He had not walked this path for 3 whole years. The nostalgia made him excited to see his friends and teachers. He wondered how much they had changed. He himself grew a lot taller and most of all, stronger. His training with Jiraiya was a success and Naruto felt emotionally strong as well. He felt ready to find and take on Sasuke and win. Oh, I can't wait to get back to my research. Hahakud the pervy sage and legendary Sannin, Jiraiya the gallant. Seriously, all you have done these years is perv. We barely got any training done with those cruddy old man pervert books that only Kakashi-sensei reads. I didn't see you complaining when we were at bathhouses. You started joining in. Jiraiya's laugh was contagious and Naruto joined in too. The gates of Konoha were up ahead, the large archway and wooden reinforced doors brought back memories. How often had Naruto himself left those gates of missions and training? He certainly remembers using it to run from angry villagers who chased him because of the 9-tailed fox sealed within him. I hope the villagers have changed. The one group of people I can never please. They passed through the gate and met up with the 2 gate guards, Kotetsu and Izumo. Izumo was wresting a jar of syrup from Kotetsu's hands when they both looked up in utter surprise. Kotetsu dropped the syrup and grabbed for his clipboard. Naruto, Jiraiya, you are back. Great to see you too, it's been so long. Lem, just write your name up. They passed through the gate and smiled at the 2 guards passing by. Jiraiya slipped them a smutty-looking book and they traded it with him for a bottle of sake, which Jiraiya smiled at and drank happily. When Jiraiya was happy, sake was the only thing to calm him down. Naruto saw Jiraiya's excitement to be back in his old village again. Or maybe he was excited to see Tsunade. Well, while you go get bashed by Granny Tsunade, I'm going to go check into my house and meet up with people. I'll be at the Hokage's office tonight, okay? What the hell do you mean, get bashed? I bet she will weaken to her knees at the sight of me. I'm here to claim my reward, haha. Naruto left his giggling sensei with a sigh and made his way towards his old apartment. But first, to further add to the nostalgia, Naruto climbed atop the nearest water tower and took in the view of his home. He felt pride and happiness consume him. He also felt nervous about meeting Sakura again. Had she changed? Has he changed? This place is just like it used to be, and one day I'll be Hokage. Believe it, I gotta stop saying that. Naruto came a soft voice below. Naruto's heart tightened as he spotted the pink-haired beauty known only as Sakura Haruno, best friend and fellow member of Team Kakashi. She was taller and well-developed into a woman. Naruto held back a nosebleed. She looked even more attractive. 3 years does a lot to a person, it seems. Sakura, Naruto yelled, leaping off the pole. He hit the ground and embraced her, making them both blush. Oh my god, look how tall you are. You have grown a lot in the last 3 years. She blushed a little at Naruto's appearance. He had grown a lot more attractive as well since he was that little scrawny loudmouth. She checked him out head to toe and felt warmth grow inside her. She played with a curl of her hair and looked distracted at him while he babbled on about his training and adventures while he was gone. He has really grown into a man. Sakura, hello Sakura. Oh, I'm sorry, so have I changed at all since we last met? She smiled bright. Nope, you're pretty much the same as usual. Baka. She threw a punch that connected with his jaw. He flew 10 feet back and hit into a fence. He slid down it like a frog against a windscreen. He felt his world grow blurry and the nostalgia returned. How many times had he been ruthlessly beaten by her? He brushed the dust off him and laughed, thinking to himself. Ah, just like old times, except now she is 1,000 times stronger. I'm so screwed. I was only kidding, Sakura. You really have changed. You are a lot stronger, smarter, taller, and beautifuler. He did not expect him to come out and say it, but she was pleased he had. Sakura blushes heavily and smiled. Oh, sorry, thank you, Naruto. You look better yourself. She poked her fingers together in distraction. Well, I have an idea, and I should catch up over some ramen tonight, but first I gotta go see Tsunade. Oh, I'll come too, if that's okay with you. Naruto smiled to himself. Nothing would have made him happier. Tsunade sat at her desk by the window and poured 3 cups of sake, 1 for Jiraiya and 2 for herself. When she was around her dear old friend she became nervous and a bit excited. She felt the old days rushing back to meet her, the days she spent with Jiraiya and Orochimaru, before one became a rebel criminal and the other became an old sleazy perv. Well, good to see neither of us has changed over the last 3 years. I guess that's reserved for the younger ninja, huh? But I must say your breasts look like they are 120 centimeters, not the usual 106 centimeters. Hehe, maybe they are happy to see. Baka. Tsunade punched Jiraiya hard in the jaw, sending him hard against a wall. He slid down it like a toad on a windscreen. But he laughed like usual, and Tsunade grinned lightly. The nostalgia was certainly thick in the air. She blushed as the sake began to kick in. She knew that one day they would get together. She could not wait until that day. If it ever came. Are you old farts done? Yet I've waited 3 years. I don't wanna wait another 3 years, you know. Naruto, good to see a familiar baka like yourself. How was training? Good, I'm alive, right? Hehe. Glad to hear it. Naruto missions will resume in about 2 weeks. We are pretty cleared up on missions, so that's why don't argue, just deal with it. Naruto clenched his fist and let out a sigh. He could use the time to settle in and catch up with everyone, so he was okay with the decision. He smiled and pulled a thumbs up. Whatever you say. Well, I'd better go get settled in. I've got plans tonight. He turned to Sakura and smiled. She blushed yet again. We sure do. 5 hours later. Sakura stared into the mirror, her hair recently washed, dried, and combed to perfection. She took great pride in her preparation for her plans with Naruto tonight. She wondered what he was going to wear and if he would bother to even wash up for their night. Is it a date or just dinner? I wouldn't mind either. She heard a knock sound at the door and turned to slip on her shoes. She opened the door and was shocked at Naruto's appearance. Naruto wore slim black pants which molded around his strong leg muscles and a white long-sleeved collared shirt with 2 buttons popped open to further increase his already attractive looks. He held flowers in one hand and a winning grin to top it all off. Sakura felt her warmth increase highly at the romantic surprise. I guess it is a date. Oh Naruto, I did not expect you here so soon. I'm not quite ready yet. Please come inside. She gestured for him to enter and he slipped off his shoes and accepted the offer. Gee Sakura, this place is amazing. I really love the decoration you got going. You know, Sakura bought her own apartment since they last met with her mission income. Oh, thank you Naruto, I'll be right back, mister. Take a seat. Sakura turned and went back to the bathroom to finish her hourly preparation. She slowly closed the door. Once it shut, she let out a huge exhale of nervous excitement. She had never felt so hot and happy to see Naruto before. She felt glad he was back and possibly now she would not have to be alone in the village. While Naruto was gone, Choji and Ino became a couple, as well as Temari and Shikamaru, also Niji and Tenten recently started going out. She did not want to feel left out this time. If only Sasuke were well in the village. No, he is gone, that's all. Sakura, are you okay there? Oh yes, I'm fine, I'm great. Where do you want to go for dinner anyway? Oh how about good old Ichiraku then? Sounds good, you know. Sakura opened the door and stood as a complete woman, all her clothing, hair, and makeup applied and perfected. Naruto pretended to cough to securely wipe away the miniature nosebleed that formed on her entrance. He couldn't help it any longer. He let out an impressed whistle and she curtsied with a giggle and a deep blush. And I have never been this close, I love it. Are you ready to go to Naruto? Yes, her beauty had yet again caught him off guard. They both sat and ate at Ichiraku ramen and talked for hours about how they have been, what's been going on both inside and outside of Konoha's walls, and the various missions completed and failed over the years. Naruto told Sakura all about his travels and training he underwent with Jiraiya and the odd toad summoned here and there. He mainly talked about what he missed about Konoha and who he missed most, which was obviously Sakura. The bill came and was paid off in a heartbeat by Naruto, who pulled a huge bloated frog purse stacked with cash. Sakura fantasized about all the dresses she could buy with that money, while Naruto fantasized about all the ramen he would buy with it. They grabbed their things and ate out the flap into the cool night. Dinner was amazing. Naruto, thank you so much, she blushed. Yeah, Ichiraku has not changed a bit, but I know a few people who have. Hey, how about we take a walk through the park next to the river? I used to go there to clear my thoughts. Sounds like a lovely idea. Her heart began to pound harder and faster at each of his compliments. She felt drawn into his charm. They walked along the still waters and listened to the songs and chirps of Konoha's Aburam pets. A light gust of wind chilled Sakura's soft, pale skin and she shivered. Without saying a word, Naruto removed his jacket he had brought and placed it over her shoulders. She felt goosebumps raise as she slipped on Naruto's much beloved jacket. He always wears this, and he gives it to me freely. Wow. Hey, I've got an idea. You ever been dancing? She gawked at him. Dancing? You dance? No way. Naruto grinned and nodded. Yup, I learned on my adventures with Jiraiya. We both had a bit of sake and bomb. I'm a ballroom dancer. Well, I don't know, where would we? Right here on the water. He took a step onto the water and powdered his chakra to keep him above the surface. Sakura followed suit. I don't know, Naruto. It's fine, let me guide you through it. He took her hand and guided her onto the water's surface. She pushed up against him and they giggled. They swayed to music that never played in reality, but only in their minds. She folded her fingers round his and he twirled her and pulled her back into him, forming the main steps of the formal dance. Their eyes met and fireworks seemed to ignite between the two. He saw the same beauty he had seen for years. She, however, saw the handsome charms of Naruto for the first time. She was enthralled in it. She twirled again and laughed as Naruto lost his control and fell waist deep in the river. Sakura howled with laughter. He smiled and pulled her into the water, which made her weep in surprise. He was worried he ruined her makeup and hair, but she came to the surface laughing and smiling brightly. The two dragged themselves to the shore and lay wet on the grass side by side. Sakura, tonight was amazing. You are amazing. Thank you. Never mind. He lost his words and dismissed the thought. No, please tell me. He turned on his side and stared close into Sakura's eye. I like you a lot more than the friends I always have. She blushed heavily and smiled. I like you too. I've never seen this side of you, Naruto, never. I want to be with you, Sakura. Nothing would make me happier, not even the title of Hokage. She pulled him in closer and got into the blue sapphires of his eyes and bit her lip. I want you too. She pulled him in and their lips met. The fireworks intensified as their lips molded together and parted as one being, their nervous tongues moving in to meet each other and explore the newfound territory of each other's hearts. She breathed hard and gripped his hair, pulling him in closer. He kissed down her lips to her cheek, to the tender skin of her neck. She breathed through a relaxed grin of longing and pleasure. She kissed his cheek and sniffed in the welcoming scent of his hair. She climbed atop him, their wet clothes drying on each other. She lay on him, lips locked and refusing to part. They spent a good 5 minutes making out beneath the stars and truly sharing the passion of youth. He parted from her. I love you, Sakura, I always have. She felt a stab of pain hit her. I love Naruto, but he's not the only one I love. I love you too, Naruto. They headed back to Sakura's for hot cocoa and warm towels, neither of them knowing that the future was already decided and its harbinger was heading to Konoha as we speak. Mile distant from Konoha, a shadowy figure traveled. His robe and hood covering his face and body. He looked like the Grim Reaper himself, minus the scythe and plus the katana. He walked silently and gracefully, as if he were walking to the market to buy fruit, not to kill his old friends. Under the darkness of his hood, the only thing that shone were the bright red pupils of the Sharingan. Sasuke had been traveling for days from Orochimaru's hideout. Kabuto had received word that Jiraiya and Naruto had returned from their training and were settling down at the Hidden Leaf for good. Sasuke longed for the Manjikyu Sharingan, which almost guaranteed victory over Itachi and those responsible for the Uchiha massacre. If I kill Naruto, the closest thing I had to a best friend, I will achieve amazing power beyond anything Orochimaru can possess. He checked to see if his Uchiha katana was clean and sharp. He hoped to stain it red by the end of tomorrow. The warm sunlight danced through the blinds of Naruto's room and lit the dark room with golden illumination. The rays of sunlight hit Naruto's drowsed face and pulled him closer to awakening. He awoke not in depression or on a pillow, wet with his tears, but with a fulfilling grin and bright excitement. He had confessed his love to Sakura, and she had met them with her own and open arms, even open lips. He yawned in triumph and rose with his arms outstretched and grin whiter than a crescent moon. Things were going good for once in his life. Oh man, I can't believe we go out. Finally, she likes me. I don't have to be alone anymore, never again. He turned over to his clock, which showed 10:50 a.m. He yawned again and slipped on his shoes and headed to the kitchen for a bowl of ramen. What else? He saw a note on the table and realized that he never wrote a reminder or note to himself. He opened the neatly folded envelope and read its contents with a growing smile. It was from Sakura and read, Naruto, instead of gorging yourself on ramen like you usually do, come over to my house around 11. I'll make us some lunch and we can hang out. I really enjoyed last night. Love, Sakura. He admired her perfect, well-scripted handwriting. His own handwriting looks like it had been gouged by a Rasengan. He turned to the clock and screamed as he remembered. It's 10:55. I'm such a baka, he screamed as he ran down the hallway juggling on fresh clothes. He tripped over trying to slide a shoe on. He ran to his door and leaped down out onto the street, colliding into Kakashi and knocking his prized Icha Paradise novel out of his hand. Yeah, my porn, I mean well-written novel. He turned bright red and fled the scene. Naruto spotted a town clock and gasped 10:58. He picked up his pace. Can't be late, can't be late, can't be late, he yelped. Sakura's apartment was up ahead, its decorated garden and exterior welcomed him inward. He had not seen it in daylight, so it appeared a marvel to him. He dodged both villager and shinobi as if they were part of the academy's agility course. He leaped up the stairs and collided against the door like lightning against stone. He slid down and compassed himself and calmly knocked as if the speed and panicking was a mere dream. Sakura, it's me, Naruto, I'm hungry, you know. He heard a laugh and the sound of approaching footsteps. The door opened and Sakura greeted him with a humorous grin. That could only be you, come on, and she wore tight jeans and a blue casual spaghetti strap singlet. She led him to the kitchen and sat him down and began baking. Oh god, her baking is always terrible and filled with healthy disgusting ingredients like antlers. He made a face at the thought. She turned and grinned. I know what you are thinking, but I got lessons from Hinata, so I'm a good cook now. She laid down a plate of scrambled eggs, bacon, and 2 freshly cooked cinnamon muffins with a cube of butter melting on top. It looked and tasted like pure heaven. He salivated for more and more until his belly would be filled by this spectacular ambrosia of the gods. He turned to her and grinned. She shoved a spoonful of fruit salad in his mouth and he almost choked in surprise, accompanied by her laughter. Hey, this food is absolutely amazing. It's almost too real to be true. I know you aren't a very good cook, Sakura, but… A folded newspaper collided with the top of Naruto's head. Baka this plummeted forward until it collided with the table. His head bounced backward after impacting on the table surface, sending him flying off his chair about to hit the kitchen floor when Sakura appeared behind him and caught his fall softly. She lowered him to her lips and kissed him deep and delicately. Thanks for the comment, thou, she giggled, and with a grunt of brute strength she lifted the flailing Naruto and carried him to the coach and lay him down. She climbed atop him, continued to kiss him, growing more and more passionate until Naruto was left with half his buttons undone and his neck covered in her scent. She kissed his jaw and spoke dirty things into his ear. Followed, she kissed his earlobe and laughed at the nosebleed coursing down his face. Gotcha, Naruto. Although I would love to, we are only on our second date right now. Haha, her teasing made Naruto nearly pass out. Sakura, that's not funny, not as funny as the tickle monster. He flipped her over and tickled her until she flailed around in absolute laughter. While Sakura put on her shoes ready to go out to buy ingredients for dinner, Naruto heard a knock and was given an urgent note requesting his presence at an important meeting at the Hokage office, which was top priority. He slid it into his pocket and went back into the kitchen to tell Sakura. Hey Sakura, I'll be at Tsunade's office for a while. I'll be back soon, okay? She nodded and pecked him on the cheek. Come back soon, I'm cooking something special tonight. Would not miss it for the world. He closed the door behind him and headed up to the Hokage office with questions dotting his mind. What's it about? Why couldn't Sakura come? He knocked on the hardwood door and was granted entrance. Inside stood Kakashi, Jiraiya, Shikamaru, and Asuma. They all turned and cautiously watched Naruto enter. You wanted to see me? Yes, Naruto, I think you should take a seat. It's rough news. It's okay, I'll stand. What is Granny Tsunade? She pulled a scout report from her jacket and placed it on the table, opening to a document and a photograph. The photograph showed a lone ninja walking along the road, a katana sheathed to his waist, and a determined stare. It was Sasuke. Where was this taken? Last night in an allied village more than 100 miles from Konoha, which means he should already be here now among the people in hiding. He's here. Why to join us again? We don't know, but we want you to find out. He was shocked they were giving him such a personal task. You are the only one who can reach him and counter his strength with your own. Find him, learn what he wants and either turn him in and hopefully bring him back to the light or break his limb. Don't kill him, but stop him from fighting. I can't possibly. Kakashi turned to him and spoke. If we don't deal with him, Naruto, he will become a threat to everyone. We are giving him one last chance, please help him." Naruto nodded and left the Hokage building, his head spinning in confusion and tense fear. Could he attack his best friend? If he had to, he knew he would rather die than take the life of his friend. "Sasuke, please go down quietly." He smelled a heavenly aroma of cooked vegetables in broth and grinned. "You are a really good cook." She turned to him and smiled, pulling him in closer for a kiss. The soup she made danced throughout his nostrils, luring him into the food. "It's good, right? It needs onion. Do you think you could go out and buy some?" "Sure thing, babe, I'll be back in 15. He walked out the door and placed the 2 onions he brought earlier from his pocket on the doorstep. He had noticed her empty onion pot before he went to the Hokage office and decided to stock her up on onions. He now had 15 minutes to try find Sasuke and resolve the situation before anyone, especially Sakura, got hurt. "God, I hope this works out. I hate lying to her." He grabbed his jacket and headed through the night-filled streets of Konoha, heading towards the tattered Uchiha residence. I can feel his chakra. If he would be anywhere, it would be the Uchiha complex, but why? He could see the unmanned, dirty old buildings of the Uchiha complex up ahead. After the massacre, many shinobi, including the 3rd Hokage, feared the ghosts of the Uchiha which dwelt in its abandoned streets. This kept the ninja from tearing down or refurbishing the Uchiha buildings, so they left them abandoned and forbidden. Sasuke would be untouched in that area of Konoha. Naruto passed through the archway and felt true coldness. "Sasuke, I know you are here. Come out, I'm not here to kill you." Silence. "Sasuke, I've been waiting for you to come back." Silence. "Sasuke." Yet again Naruto was greeted with pure silence. But he could feel Sasuke's chakra grow closer, but not stronger. Something's wrong with his chakra. Normally, when a strong ninja has weak chakra, it means they have used it all up in battle, had it removed from their body. But sometimes when a ninja is badly wounded, the chakra is distributed to heal that wound. This lowers their initial chakra rate and makes them weak and vulnerable. Naruto, a faint voice cracked. It came from a tattered building to Naruto's right. He ran inside and realized this is Sasuke's house before Itachi brought it all down. Footsteps sounded above him, and he turned to the old creaky steps of this Uchiha home. Each step created a creak and a thump as the old wood groaned like a work mule. Naruto could see the sandaled feet and legs of the intruder slowly descend the stairway. There stood a bloodied, crippled, and drained Sasuke Uchiha, his facials withered and pleading. "Naruto, help me." Sasuke here ran closer and caught the Uchiha as he fell forward. "I'm sorry, Naruto, It's okay, Sasuke. You are here now." "No, I'm sorry, I befriended such a fucking letdown." He brought a kunai out of his pocket and thrust it upward into Naruto's exposed stomach, spilling blood all over the floor. Sasuke, don't take me for a fool." The clone vanished, and the real Naruto stood ready to strike with his drawn kunai. Sasuke charged his chakra back to normal and drew his katana, his eyes blazing red with hatred. "Naruto, you must die for my power. Are you still focused on this revenge bullshit? Sasuke, we are giving you one last chance. I can't let you throw your life away. You are my friend." "Aha, you are just a bond I have already severed. Now all you are is an obstacle of power." He lunged at Naruto with ferocity. "That's it, I've had enough of you." Naruto let his anger grow, fueling him with fresh Kyuubi chakra. Sasuke turned and leaped out the window, drawing Naruto to fight outside in Konoha's streets and rooftops. What is he planning? The two collided katana to kunai mid-air and collided with the hard road of Konoha's main street. People fleeing in terror as the two clashed with utter deadly precision. Naruto knew he must kill Sasuke. It was either Sasuke or the lives of his fellow villagers and ninja. "I gotta do it, oh god, why now?" Naruto collided with a fruit stand, spilling fruit all over the street. Naruto kicked Sasuke back and lunged at him with his kunai, drawn ready to quickly slice out Sasuke's life. Sasuke rolled to his side, dodging Naruto's blow by 2 inches. He grabbed a handful of dirt and tossed it in Naruto's eyes. "Naruto, my Sharingan needs your blood to achieve true power, then I can destroy Itachi." "Sasuke, this ends now. I won't let you hurt anyone anymore." He summoned a shadow clone which began developing his Rasengan until it spun fast and deadly. Sasuke grasped his hand and charged his Chidori. They both charged at each other. Rasengan. Chidori. The two forces collide and explode outward with both wind and lightning. The explosion bursts windows and pushes debris outward from the light crater created by the two. They both crawled to their feet, Sasuke bleeding from his mouth and forehead. Naruto was bleeding from a heavy scratch on his cheek. They both looked haggard, but determined to see it through to the end. They both picked up their weapons and charged. Naruto. Sasuke. The kunai was cut out of Naruto's hand and clattered on the concrete floor. Naruto wrestled to free the katana from Sasuke. He headbutted Sasuke, and the hard collision of their two foreheads shook Sasuke, causing him to drop the katana. Naruto kicked it away and climbed onto Sasuke's chest, his inner Kyuubi being released as he struck Sasuke's face over and over with his own. His hand was stained with both his and Sasuke's blood. Sasuke got a hold of Naruto's ring finger and bit it off in a spray of blood. Naruto wrapped his bleeding hands around Sasuke's throat and held down tight. Sasuke's life draining away. Stop now, Naruto, a scream sounded, and Naruto stopped to see the tear-stained face of Sakura. Next to her was Kakashi and Tsunade, who had come down to see the fuss. Sasuke's crippled body lay unconscious, but still alive. Naruto, what have you done to Sasuke? He attacked me first, he was going to kill me to gain power, I tried to reason with him. Tsunade shouted, this is not the reason, this is not the Leaf Ninja way. We said to not kill him, you had him knocking on death's door. Sakura looked up and shocked you. This was a mission to harm or kill Sasuke. No, Sakura, I would never do that, I was going to tell you, but I did not want to hurt you. So you go and hurt Sasuke, one, you nearly kill him. Kakashi jumped in and raised his hands. Enough, Naruto acted on orders, that is all, he went too far, but Sasuke is still alive. So this was a fucking mission, Sakura screamed. Sakura, please, I wanted to turn Sasuke in peacefully, but he attacked me so violently. Sasuke coughed up a mouthful of blood and spat it out on the cold concrete. It began to rain. Sasuke stared up at Sakura and the others with pleading eyes. It was the perfect act, and only Naruto saw through it. I tried to reason, but the Kyuubi thirsted for blood. Oh, Sakura, help me, I just want to be loved in the village again. Naruto snarled, that's a fucking lie. He lunged at Sasuke, but was elf back by Kakashi. Sasuke, did he attack you? Are you telling the truth? Sasuke exposed his cut-up stomach, which was bleeding before the fight with Naruto. It was self-inflicted, but Sasuke made them think otherwise. I fought with Orochimaru and escaped. I came to the leaf looking for peace, but the curse mark made me kill some Konoha scouts. Then Naruto tries to kill me when all I want is someone to love. He stares up at Sakura with intense hope. He's lying, god damn it, Sasuke, I will kill you for these lies. The rain falling harder. Sakura raised her tear-streamed face. Naruto, he was your friend and you almost killed him. Sakura, please, I didn't mean to hurt him or hurt you, it's all a lie, please. So you go and hurt Sasuke, you go and hurt the man I truly love. Everyone went silent, her words pierced the noise and confusion of their argument. Naruto stood, his legs growing weak. You love Sasuke more than you love me. Tears cut off his sentence and he fell to his knees. Naruto, I always loved Sasuke, I like you, but I know I was made for him. His tears flowing harder than the rain. I thought I had found my soulmate, that I would not be alone. Well, I'm not your soulmate and you are too dangerous to be around. Sakura spoke coldly. What do you mean? Naruto pleaded. Naruto, that goddamn demon fox tore this street up, almost killed your friend, you are not stable. His anger filled his tears. Is that all I fucking am to you people? A goddamn demon weapon, he yelled. Tsunade shook her head, but Naruto would not have it. Shut up, Tsunade, you sent me on this mission, don't you start. His voice raised into a roar. Kakashi grabbed Naruto's arm, he pushed back. Don't touch me, Kakashi-sensei, I know you idolized Sasuke. What am I, a fucking orphan demon? Crowds of people surrounded the carnage and began to boo and throw things at Naruto. His tears ran faster and his temper rose. Sakura cradled Sasuke's head in her lap. Her tears flowing onto his face, everything was going to hell. Get out of here, you fucking demon. You ruined this town at birth. Goddamned fox. The retorts of the villagers grew more and more violent. Why can't you leave me alone? My life is depressing enough as it is. A can hit Naruto square in the head and he screamed in agony and fury. No, Naruto, they are right, you should just leave, you have done enough. Sakura, no, you can't mean that. Get out. Sakura, please, you can't. Get the fuck out of here, you demon fox. Naruto screamed in distorted cries of anger and growing despair, tears pouring from his eyes. He fled down the street, his skin turning red as the Kyuubi tried to take over. Behind him, hordes of villagers throwing knives, plates, and any debris they could get a hold of pelted Naruto's back and cursed his life. Naruto leaped out the gates of Konoha and down a long muddy hill knives, and rocks following his descent as the villagers followed him out with fury in their eyes. His body hit a muddy puddle, and he was covered in its thick coat. He lay there crying in the rain, listening to the sound of frightened ninja and villagers searching for him to finish the job. They feared another attack by the Kyuubi, the pain still fresh in their memories. He lay there for hours waiting for his tears to dry up. 2 more hours passed, and they were still flowing. He crawled from the ditch and limped his way through the jungle. He could hear people calling his name. Tsunade sat down hard at her desk and glared at Sakura. At her side was Kakashi and Shikamaru. It had been hours since Naruto disappeared after all hell broke loose. Tsunade had a glass of sake in one hand and a stress ball in the other, her fingers pressed together until the stress ball was crushed and popped. "Sakura, what have we done? Naruto did cross the line, but seriously, I think we crossed the line. I had no idea you and Naruto were going out. This changes everything. The poor kid is torn apart right now. Are you sure he deserved such a scolding?" Tsunade said. Sakura was silent, her head was also confused and stressed. I don't know. Oh God, what have we done? I was just so angry, she sobbed. Kakashi added, and what we have done is that an unstable young man showed him love and ripped it away and blamed him for destruction he never caused. He has been exiled by his own villagers and cursed for his very existence. He has known sorrow all his life. We just intensified it. I don't know what really happened, but we went the wrong way about it. Tsunade took a big hit of her sake. Dear God, what do we do now? We look for him and give him time to recuperate and recover, Kakashi replied. The door burst open and Jiraiya strolled in. Where is Naruto? What is going on? Tsunade filed him in and watched Jiraiya's expression deepen. This is bad. Depression makes people do stupid things, very stupid things, he said, on the edge of panic. Sakura stood. I'll go find him, please. We all better hurry, Jiraiya said. Tsunade could not help but see the simmering hate in his eyes. Was it directed at Sakura or her? The voice called out again and was closer to Naruto. It came closer and closer until Naruto saw the pink hair of the color. Maybe she would not notice him curled up in a fetal position in the mud. But sadly she did. Naruto, she ran to his side and wiped the mud from his eyes. Oh Naruto, I'm sorry, I'm so goddamn sorry this happened, please come back to the village with me. She looked at his arms and screamed. Why had he done it? Slashed along his arms were deep gouges which were pouring blood and draining him by the minute. He was tired of this stale existence, and today's event drove him to the bursting point. Oh Naruto, why oh God. Don't touch me, just leave me. I'm not going anywhere. Naruto, we can get through this. We can't get through shit. Sakura realized his pupils were obsidian black and his pupils were blood red with sorrow. Naruto. Don't give me this shit, I'm a demon and I can't live this way without you, I'm dead. What is with your eyes? I am the true part of Naruto. The sorrow and despair, this is me. Please, we can sort this out. She placed her hand on his shoulder. He swiped it off and screamed. No, touch me, this was always about you and Sasuke, always never about me. That's not true. Bullshit, so long Sakura, I'll end this all for everyone. A love tear trailed down his cheek. Naruto, wait. But it was too late, he was gone. Please, we can sort this out. She placed her hand on his shoulder. He swiped it off and screamed. No, touch me, this was always about you and Sasuke, always never about me. That's not true. Bullshit, so long Sakura, I'll end this all for everyone. A love long withered, leaving a tear trailing down his cheek. Naruto, wait, she pleased. But it was too late, he was gone. Naruto faded away into the shadows of night engulfed forest. He tore off his top, which was already damaged from the thick brush which tore at him like talons. The heavy rain pelted his back as he ran through dirt, water, and mud. His face was a light tone of brown from the grit that splashed from the ground, except 2 lines of pale skin where the streaming tears had cleaned away the dirt. He wailed and screamed in sadness and anger at the village that had spat him out, at the friends who did not help him, at the woman who tore out his heart, and most of all, Sasuke, who had turned his world upside down and brought Naruto to such a low level. He ripped down trees and smashed rocks in absolute fury, his tears ceasing no less as they leaked out of him like twin rivers of fire. He felt his world crumble around him only a few hours before he was a happy man with great friends, a great ninja reputation, and a woman whom he loved with all his heart. After all the blood, sweat, and tears put into bringing Sasuke back to the village, he ends up betraying Naruto and turning his own people against him. He raised his fanged mouth and screamed, his obsidian black eyes pulsing with his anger. his red pupils dilating in and out. Sasuke, I will never forgive you for this, I will take my vengeance. He swiped a tree and split it in half with the force of a raging hurricane. He moved around the grove of trees, smashing and tearing. He crumbled rocks with his bare feet and dug out the earth with his savage blows. He was in an absolute craze. His tears felt like hot lead. He fell to his knees in the rough soil and spoke not only to himself but to the world, it seemed. You always do this to me. You have made my life hell and burned the remains of my honor, emotions, and love. Do you hear me, Konoha? Do you hear me? He drew his kunai and cut his arm open, letting the blood cover his kunai. He raised his bloodied kunai to the sky and shouted, I gave my blood for this village, for its people, and now it throws me away like trash, all the people I loved. 3 years ago. The blonde-haired boy awoke like a jack-in-a-box and sprung from his bed. He whooped with happiness and excitement. Today was his special day, and he hoped people would celebrate it with him. He jumped into his clothes and ran to the kitchen, yelling and screaming like any excited kid would. He poured himself a glass of expired milk and dug into a fresh bowl of ramen. He made sure to savor every flavor of his special meal. He belched aloud and ran out the door to the bright sunny streets of Konoha. It's my birthday, you know. He made his way to the park to find his friends. Hopefully they remembered it was his birthday, or there would be hell to pay. He looked from park to park, but found no one. He even dared look in the library. Wherever he went, no one was around. He began to feel a bit blue, knowing his friends were out having fun without him on his birthday. He went to go see Tsunade and ask where they all are. Hopefully she would have his answers. Hey Granny Tsunade, where is everyone? Oh, a mission, you were asleep so they left you, sorry. Oh, I see, I'll go home now, I guess. Wait, can you please go to the conference room and tell Shizune I need those reports in? Yeah, sure. He felt his blue mood deepen. Not only were they away from Konoha, but they were all invited except him. He felt his moods dwindle and dampen as he felt tears coming. He turned the handle of the conference room door and entered. It was pitch black. Shizune must have left. Surprise, happy birthday, Naruto. The room echoed with voices of familiar faces. The light flicked on, and he saw a whole room filled with the people he spent so long trying to find. The room was decorated with streamers and balloons. Naruto's eyes bulged as he saw the cart in the corner of the room. Ichiraku himself stood at a portable ramen cart and saluted. He was embraced by his friends and laughed at due to his glum expression prior the party. I thought you were on a mission. Sakura stood forward. We were Operation Nara Party. Naruto grinned and looked at all the caring people who showed up. All the teams from Team Guy to Team Kunai and a few extras like Iruka and Jiraiya who stood off to the side and smiled. 3 cheers for Naruto, hip hip. Hooray. Hip hip. Hooray. The day followed through with laughter, love, and games. No missions were done that day, and all the ramen was gone. That day stood out in Naruto's mind like a tower in a clear desert. He was happy then. Flashback ends. Are you telling me it was all a lie? He licked a drop of his blood off the kunai and let the Kyuubi speak the poetry of despair and hatred. Konoha, I will not rest until your walls are dust and Sasuke is dead. I'll kill you all. He gained control again and knelt there silent, his features calming and his tears ever flowing more and more. He gazed down at a puddle of muddy water and recoiled at his reflection. His face was covered in blood and mud, his hair was dusty and savagely longer than usual, and his eyes were jet black with 2 crimson orbs for pupils in each socket. Following his reflection, he brought his fingers to his face and felt the fangs that had grown through his anger. His sanity gathering and sending him more and more into a deep focus. He stared into his own black eyes and trembled. What have I become? I really am a monster. His anger blunted and sadness took general control. What is happening to me? No, I can't turn into this demon, his tears rolling like boulders. He tasted his own blood in his mouth and felt repulsed. I can't live this way anymore. He raised his kunai to his chest and pulled his headband from his pocket. With one quick slash, his bond with Konoha was severed. Letting his blood drip on the headband, he threw it as far as he could from him. He brought the kunai closer to his chest and cried over its hilt. Mom, Dad, I don't know who you are, forgive Meplis, his lips trembling and his hands shaking. Sakura, he called aloud, hoping she would hear him. Here's your solution, he roared, feeling the urge to carry on slipping. He thrust a kunai deep in his stomach and ripped it to one side, tearing open his belly and spilling blood like water over the muddy soil. He fell to his back and waited for death to take him from his endless sorrow. "I wish I had been loved by someone truer," he whispered. His world went dark. Sasuke sat up on his bunk, gasping for air as the nightmare ripped him from slumber. They had placed him in a holding cell while everyone went out to find Naruto or his body. He knew it now, Naruto was dead. He checked the mirror and opened his eyelids wide in anticipation for his change. Nothing but his eyes stared back. He stood there silent, shocked, trembling at the horrifying realization. Naruto is dead, and my eyes are the same. Why my actions got him killed? I killed him. Where is my power? All in vain. To earn the manjutsu, one must go through terrible pain and despair to achieve such a power. The killing of a friend or relative would accomplish such. Sasuke set out to kill Naruto, who nobody knew was his best and only friend he ever cared about. He drove his fist into the wall and gritted his teeth, and tears welled up in the corner of his eyes. "Naruto, this was all in vain, and now you're dead. Oh God, Naruto," he screamed his friend's name over and over, driving his fist into the concrete wall. No one had ever known how Sasuke felt about Naruto. What they saw was a well-played mask. But in reality, Sasuke loved the competition, the support, and even the arguments. Naruto was like a brother to Sasuke. The two always worked well together despite the arguments and pride each ninja seemed to seep. Now his only friend was dead, and he still did not have the power needed to defeat Itachi. Despair filled him, but it was not enough to awaken Manjutsu. He was left alone like a hollow shell. "Naruto, I'm sorry I ruined your life. I never meant to be such an asshole. It was the only way to make us enemies. I loved you like a brother." He gritted his teeth and came to an epiphany of both truth and revelation. "Naruto, I will live the life you wanted me to. I will defend Konoha and its people, and when I am strong enough I will kill Itachi and bring peace to the village, and I'll be the first Uchiha Hokage. Naruto, I promise." Tears leaked down his face as he gazed at the moon. Sasuke was a different man now. Sakura searched the darkness. She had searched for hours on end for Naruto. Kakashi and Yamato scouted ahead with their jutsu, while everyone else thoroughly searched every ditch and cave. Sakura felt her own world crumble as she came further and further from solving her issues with Naruto. She had screwed up, and she knew it. She called out loud again, hoping to hear his responsible. "Naruto. Naruto, please come back." Crickets and silence replied. She moved through the brush searching for clothing scraps or hair that could be followed. Instead she saw Kakashi, knelt to the ground examining a piece of metal. "Kakashi-sensei, what have you found?" Kakashi seemed to be weeping, his stare still cold and serious. "War changed things." Sakura turned back. "We must go back, please." "What is it?" She pushed past him and gazed at the blood-stained headband of Konoha, a large scratch running through it with blood in its crevices. Sakura, the blade was already bloody when he scratched it, and he has thrown away his bond with Konoha. "What are you saying?" Kakashi, he killed someone. "No, he cut himself and removed all ties with Konoha before killing himself." "What? No, that can't be right." Kakashi got to his feet and led the girl away from the scene. She tried to reach for his headband. "Sakura, he is dead." "No, Naruto, no." Her screams pierced the night. If only they searched a little more, they would have found him. Reality seemed a black hole, eating away at his thoughts and memories as he lay there dying. The rain ceased, but the ground still grew damp from the never-ending flow of sorrow leaking from his fading eyes. He lay there for hours and hours staring up at the forest canopy in hope someone would save him. No one ever came. His mouth grew dry and his stubble grew as days went by. Each minute he begged for death to take him. But it seemed that both fate and the Nine Tails wanted him to suffer each minute until the game was done. His life never flashed before his eyes. All there was to see was the sky and the leaves mocking him. He did not know if he had soiled himself or not. He lost feeling in his lower body and had vomited to his side more than twice. Lying there on the cold, damp earth, no one ever came. "They left me. Why am I surprised?" Another day passed, and he came to a realization that the fox's chakra were keeping him alive and stable, whether the fox himself liked it or not, and so there lay Naruto Uzumaki. It is his own blood, mud, vomit, and waste. Scraggly stubble and dark circles under his eyes. He felt like his life had turned into a numb paradox of hate and despair. He was too numb to hear the footsteps approaching. He registered finally and scanned the sound of their movements. Two of them, two men lightly armed, not Konoha shinobi. They stopped, and he could feel their shadows looming over him. His eyesight had blurred out and diminished from sleep deprivation. Oh fuck, what the hell happened to him, whoever he is? I don't know, left for dead looks like an attempted suicide. Wait. It's this kid, your little brother's friend? Shut up, I realized he is the Nine-Tails Jinchuuriki after all. Sweet, let's kill him here and tell Pain we can proceed with the ceremony. No, don't you see he was kicked out of Konoha, left for dead and forgotten like trash. I sense great hatred in him, but not towards us. So, unsheath Samahata and use the bandages to carry this kid. He comes back to the hidden rain. Call all the members. What do you think of Itachi? I think we found our newest member. Kiss him, one with usable hatred. Naruto had barely registered the conversation, but even through his poor eyesight, could he notice the big red clouds adorned on their cloaks? The Akatsuki had claimed their prize. Itachi's mind was heavy with thought. Why has Naruto been kicked out of his own village? Why had he tried to commit suicide? He could hardly believe that such a gutsy kid could sink so low to end up near dead and in a puddle of his own blood and shit. Kiss him, and Itachi had brought him to a stream and dunked him in for a few minutes to clean the horrid crust off his body. Then they set out to the hidden rain. Itachi had Naruto slung over his shoulder while Kiss him cradled the unsheathed Samahata. The sword bared its teeth and purred as Kiss him let it feast on his chakra. Itachi never really understood the bond between the two. It was almost a paternal bond, like father and child. Kiss him was an odd member of the Akatsuki, but a very straightforward and honorable one at that. Itachi was grateful to be paired up with him. Out of all the members, I am the luckiest. I've spent only a few years in the Akatsuki, and I already know each member well enough. As it is, I could have been paired with any of them. Luckily, I gathered a great amount of intel on each member before I chose my partner. Itachi ran all his information through his head, scanning the members and their information. He read it aloud in his mind, as if they were all to be judged. Deidara, a simple-minded member who thrives to perfect his art. Excels in explosives and espionage, formerly from the Hidden Stone. He is very skilled in his art, but I think with his art comes great hubris and a lack of focus. Okay to work with, but not a practical partner. Sasori is a very literal and serious member of our organization. His combat is his ability as a master puppeteer. Along with his own puppets, his own body is heavily modified and lacks any human appearance. That's why I thought at first, until he revealed his true form, he looks like a simple kid, maybe 17 or so. Despite his appearance, he is older than most of us due to his puppet body. Formerly from the Hidden Sand Village, he was another candidate I found easy to work with. Haiden is quite the opposite to many of our members. Haiden is obnoxious, loud, and vulgar. A suicidal fanatic to the god of slaughter, Jashin. He possesses the power of immortality and the power to inflict damage on himself and transfer it to other people with a drop of their own blood, almost voodoo sorcery in nature. This makes him a dangerous foe to fight. His humorous personality is rivaled with his bloodlust, truly an unstable member formerly of the Hidden Hot Water Village. No wonder. Kakuzu, our organization's accountant financial representative, he also has the abilities of immortality. Covered head to toe in stitches and scars, it is no wonder he is the Akatsuki's amateur surgeon. He appears to be made of stitches himself. Also, with my Sharingan I could see more than one heart beating, which must be a clue to his immortality. Formerly a member of the Hidden Waterfall Village, he is a member I find rather scary. Kiss him, as I thought before, very straightforward and honorable, such is the trait of a member of the Hidden Mist 7 Ninja Swordsman. His sword, Samahata, is an alive entity that consumes chakra like food. Kiss him openly gives it chakra, and in return Samahata decimates his enemies. I am pleased to be his partner. Konan, the only female member of the Akatsuki so far, she is the right-hand woman to Nagato. The two have been friends, partners, since before the organization was formed by Pain, or Nagato, if you want to call him by his real name. I can see clearly that the two are in love, but they keep it more than a secret. She excels in origami and can create paper bombs in a second with her jutsu. A proud guardian of the Hidden Rain Village, she is known as the angel. She is beautiful, yes, I won't deny it. Pain, or Nagato if you will, is our great leader, also of the Hidden Rain. He formed this organization and recruited us alone by one. He possesses the fabled Rinnegan, the very eyes of the great sage of the six paths. He believes himself to be a god. He certainly has the power of one. Heavily pierced, he controls 6 bodies with chakra rods placed in each body. I have seen his real body maybe 2 or 3 times. He is heavily injured and has no use of legs. But he is wise nonetheless. Konan protects him with her life. A truly devastating leader, no doubt. Toby, something about this kid get to me, it's as if he is older than Sasori, but uses the voice of a crazy teenager. From what I see, he is stupid, humorous, childish, and not very suitable for a mercenary organization such as ours. But despite all this, I sense great hatred and power within him, almost as if he had the hatred of the Uchiha inside him. I am not certain of his village. He could be a simple drifter. He reminds me of a Uchiha kid that got killed a while back, Obito. I forgot his name, but this Toby something is going on behind the shadows, and he is a part of it. Zetsu may be the most mysterious creature recruited. He resembles a plant and shares the same teleportation effect as Toby. His body is divided in half, so it's hard to say whether it is one or two beings. The light side is cheerful like Toby, the black side is serious and cold like pain or Kakuzu. No village, no human attributes, no way of knowing who he really is. I sensed a bit of Senju blood in him, however, but I could be mistaken. Kisame looked at Itachi's concentrated face and grinned. What are you thinking about? Itachi-sama had a pureed in a near sleeping stage. Nothing, just our other members and him, our possible new member. If he survives recovery and training, sure. Naruto mumbled in his sleep and spoke one word that shook Itachi to the bone. Sasuke. He will make it, he has a reason. Sakura flipped open the lock and stepped inside and closed the door behind her. Sasuke had been moved to a better room with a window, working lights, and water. The window was strong glass and was reinforced with chakra seals to avoid him escaping, not that he would. He would stay in the village after all he had done. Sakura. Sasuke, please take a seat, I need to tell you something. Sakura, I should have been more kinder to Naruto on my entry. I should have acted like more of a friend and not an enemy. It's okay Sasuke, you did not mean it to turn out like this. Dual streams of tears spilled down her face, her lips puckered and twitched. What's wrong? He stood to embrace her. She folded herself in his arms and screamed into his shoulder. Naruto is dead. Her harsh cries registered through his jacket. I know, I felt it in my heart and dreams. I'm so sorry, he said. Dawning regret filled him. Why? It's all my fault, I drove him to it and the goddamned Kyuubi helped him do it. What do you mean? The shock and depression, he killed himself. Sasuke knew he was dead, but he thought it was the act of the villagers, wounds, or even the Nine-Tails Fox. He had no idea his own actions caused Naruto to commit suicide. Sasuke felt twin stabs of heat sting his eyes. He realized that he too was crying. He held Sakura dear to him and wept over his fallen friend. Were you and Naruto in love? Yes, well, loved me more than I did him. I see, I'm so sorry Sakura. I feel it. Blame for Sasuke realized he was about to confess and silenced himself. If I am to live the life Naruto wanted, I must live it happily and without any trouble. If I tell her, it would only bring pain, no matter how I hate it. He led her to the spare seat and the two sat together until Sakura was called away to speak with the Hokage. The air was warm and dry, a real change from the damp and humid earth which Naruto spent so long dying on. His eyes were bandaged up and he felt his abdomen also bandaged up. His arms and legs were shackled to the table and he could barely move. His stomach was a flaring pain as he felt the rough stitches holding him together. He could also feel various IV lines connected to his wrists and chest. He tried to speak, but his throat was dry and crusty, what he would give for a simple glass of water. He knew for a fact that he was not in a simple hospital. He could hear nothing but the machines beeping away. He tried to force his hands out of the shackles, but instead he heard a loud beep register and stopped. They have me monitored, whoever they are. He felt his chakra being restored little by little, which explained some of the IVs. He figured he was not being kept by the enemy, because why would the enemy give him chakra so freely? He lay back and relaxed, gathering enough saliva to swallow and clear out his dusty throat. He recollected the past events and felt both sadness and anger seep into him yet again. Sakura had ripped out his heart, Kakashi had done nothing but watch, and Sasuke had ruined his entire life in the village with lies and fake stories. His fist tightened and his nails dug into his palm, drawing 4 pricks of blood. His teeth clenched and he snarled at the Uchiha that had done all this to him. There is still hate in you, it lurks like a creature in the dark, my young jinchuuriki. Ah. Where are my manners here? Open your mouth. I have water. Naruto simply could not refuse. Thanks, his throat clearing for the first time in days. Don't mention it. How are you, Naruto? In pain. I am all too familiar with pain. Miname, you know my name? Well, sure we do. We have watched you for quite some time, Naruto Uzumaki. I thought I was the last of my clan, to not until now at least. Wait, you. SSSH, I'll let you get dressed now. Your name, what's your name? He stood silent for a moment, deciding what was the best answer, what would gain this kid's trust. He decided on the truth. Nagato Uzumaki. He stepped out of the room and closed the door. Naruto's voice gave weight to a surprised yell. Wait, you and I are clan members. It was a long 15 minutes before the door opened again and a heavier set of feet stomped on in. He could tell it was a man by the gruff way he carried himself. He felt cold hands trail his healing wounds and prod at the stitches and the faint sound of a pen on a clipboard. Whoever they were organized. He sensed powerful chakra that no ordinary doctor would possess. Naruto felt his arm being lifted and examined closely by the doctor, its breath registering on the nape of Naruto's hairs. He mustered up the courage to talk. Sir, when do I fully recover? Sorry, you probably get it a lot. Your wounds are healing fast and my stitching is holding together more than enough. I'll give you a good 3 days rest. The bandages around your eyes can come off in a few hours. The man's voice sounded deep and cold, as if Naruto's life was profitable. Compared to the previous visitor, this man was all business with no smiles. Thanks, Doctor Who. I'm not a doctor, but I'll take it as a compliment. My name is of no importance, only money is of importance. Okay, sorry. The money-loving not doctor only grunted and finished his exam and left the room without any formalities, and Naruto was left alone to himself to think about where he was, who they were, and what to do next. He was familiar with the red cloud, but he could not remember where he had seen it. They have not killed me, they have fed me my chakra back and have given me urgent medical attention. They took me in when Konoha threw me out, and now I find out one of them could possibly be related to me. If not, he is in my clan nonetheless. The clan that was supposed to be wiped out long ago. What reason would I have to escape or try to leave early? My home is gone, and my friends left me for dead, and now I belong to no one. I'm all alone, and it's all Sasuke's fault. Maybe Pervy Sage will help me. But he probably thinks I'm dead and is buried in a bottle of sake right now. I can't get close to the village without them throwing me out again. There is no use living this horrid reality. I owe these people, I really do. Tsunade and Jiraiya sat together on the balcony. Jiraiya, who had just heard the news, cried and wailed openly. It broke Tsunade's heart to see him so distraught by Naruto's death. She herself had cried herself dry before gaining the courage to tell Jiraiya. He popped the cork off of a sake bottle and took a deep gulp of its milky liquid and wept silently as it calmed his emotions the tiniest degree. He hugged Tsunade tight and clenched his fists. I should have been there. He needed family to calm him down. He needed his godfather to tell him it's all okay, it's my fault. No, Jiraiya, it's not. It's my fault for sending Naruto on such a personal mission. He also found out Sakura's true feelings. God, no love. It's cruel when it has no right to be. Fresh tears welling up again. Sakura feel terrible. Jiraiya, she feels she is responsible. She is. This whole village has hated Naruto since birth. They should know how unstable his emotions are. Goddamned assholes. Jiraiya, calm down. I am calm, for God's sake. I lost a grandson today. I lost a son, a student, a friend, and this village cares a shit less. A knock sounded and Tsunade turned to let them in. Come in. The door opened and Sakura stepped in, her eyes wet with tears. She could not bear herself to look at Jiraiya in the eyes. She knew he was like a father to Naruto. Tsunade, she broke down into tears and Tsunade pulled the girl in, let her cry it all out. Where is the body? Tsunade, Jiraiya moaned. They never found it, but then he could still be alive. God damn it. Jiraiya's headband was scratched and covered in his blood. For all we know, an animal took off with his body. Or the Akatsuki. No, you are probably right. I will search for it tonight. However, I need something to do. This city reeks of hubris. He knocked gently on the door. Yamato did not think he would answer the door, not after the incident. Not for a while. His friend would have to add another name to the honors stone he visited every day. Yamato was worried. He knew it was hard to lose a student. He could not imagine how Jiraiya felt. He grew too worried and used his wooden jutsu to unlock the wooden door, and he stepped inside. The room was dark and cold, but he could sense his chakra in the next room. He saw the silver hair and the glistening bottle of sake, and he sighed. Kakashi, how are you feeling? Hey, I'm fine. You have been drinking. It's unlike you. I lost another student, another friend. He was going to go so far. He had so much potential. He was going to become Hokage, my Naruto. Yamato patted his friend on the shoulder and took up a seat, pouring himself a glass of sake. He had to think of something to talk about, but he had no idea. Are we sure he's? Kakashi nodded back and found no body or trace of his scent outside the village. His body was eaten most likely. Come on man, don't say that. It's true, goddammit, it's true, I failed him just like I failed Rin and Obito. His friend collapsed on the table and gave way to his emotions, crying openly on the dark wooden desk. I am worse than trash, I forgot my friends, You are a bit drunk and a great ninja who cares for everyone. The White Fang would be proud, Kakashi. The door opened and Naruto heard newer footsteps trail into the corner of the room. This chakra was more intense than before, almost familiar. Naruto gathered his courage yet again and spoke up to the strange visitor. He hoped for answers and reconciliation. Who are you? I know your chakra. I saved you, brought you here with my partner. We sensed your chakra and came to the source. You are lucky to be alive. No, I am cursed, that's why I am alive. We have met before this, I know that voice as well. How is my brother? Is he back in the village? Has he beat his hatred and broken the curse? Who are you and who is your brother? Sasuke, how is he? Sasuke, I'll kill him. I'll tear his throat out and watch him bleed. It's all his fault. I know you now. The blindfold was ripped from his face and he felt the harsh light blind him. He slowly opened his eyes and gazed at the solemn Uchiha. Itachi, I should have known you are a part of the Akatsuki. It seems my brother's hatred was passed on to you, Naruto. Thanks for watching my video. Leave a like if you enjoyed my video and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. If you want the next part of this story, let me know in the comment box. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.